and try to move on.
Today, I am asking our chairman to proceed with articles of impeachment. The president leaves us no choice but to act because he is trying to corrupt, once again, the election for his own benefit.
Marc Thiessen says time is not on her side, writing that she, quote, signed a political death warrant for moderate Democrats, and a raft of recent reporting indicates that Trump district Democrats are spooked about how all of this is going to play out. So tonight, we've got Congressman Devin Nunes on Adam Schiff digging into his phone records, plus Greg Jarrett with his take on the new revelations of what we're hearing about the IG report, which comes out on Monday. Also, to lighten things up, we've got comedian Adam Carolla with his take on what is going on in the world right now. But first, Marc Thiessen, AEI scholar and Fox News contributor. I know that the Shakespeare quotes were not lost on you, Marc, and it is good to have you with us tonight.
I can't compete with the Bard.
No, none of us can, but we tried. So timing is everything. Chad Pergram, our Capitol Hill reporter extraordinaire, has said that the White House has until 5 o'clock tomorrow to signal whether or not they would like time in this process. Their own, folks to testify and to tell their side of the story. How do you see this rolling out?
Well, I see it as a disaster for the Democrats. The fact is that Nancy Pelosi is Speaker today for one simple reason, is because in 2018, the Democrats convinced a number of voters in these swing states to switch their elite, who had voted for Donald Trump, to switch and vote for them and put them in the majority in the House. If they want to keep that majority, they need to win over those voters again and have them stick with them. And there's a new New York Times poll that shows that 2/3 of the voters who voted in the 6 key swing states who voted for Donald Trump and then switched to the Democrats in 2018 plan to vote for the president. So what that means is they already have an uphill battle. Now throw in impeachment into that. Nancy Pelosi is asking these people not just to approve an investigation, but in an inquiry, which a majority of Americans support, but to actually take that choice away from the voters. To usurp their choice and remove the President of the United States from office. The split ticket voting is very rare these days, but how many voters are actually going to vote to give Donald Trump 4 more years and then also vote for the Democrat who wanted to take that choice away from them? It's very unlikely. So I think many of these Democrats are toast.
Well, there's no doubt that they're watching these polls. The one that you mentioned, which I thought was very interesting, that showed 2/3 of those who changed their vote, as you said, in 2016, switched it back again, or are planning to switch it back again and vote for President Trump rather than vote for a Democrat as they did in 2018. And then you've got the swing state polls, which I think are also quite significant because, let's face it, there's the sentiment in the country, and then there's the question about how this plays out electorally. And there's a look at it. Battleground states, do you support impeachment? 44% support, 51% oppose impeachment. So, obviously Nancy Pelosi's been doing all of this calculus in her head. And I'm going to talk in a moment to Robert Zimmerman, who, I know believes that this is going to go their way. But, there are a lot of people out there, Marc, who believe that the president did something wrong and that he should be removed. There's an ABC poll that shows 51% for impeach and remove.
Yeah, so there are a lot of people out there. There's two different things. There are a lot of people out there, a majority of Americans, I think even 70% polls show of Americans think he did something wrong. But it's a minority that think that he did something wrong enough to be removed from office, and especially in an election year. This is the problem, is that the Democrats have not made their case. They had weeks of wall-to-wall coverage on our network, on other networks. They had witness after witness. And if you look at the polls, the fact is, especially in the swing states, which are really what they should be concerned about, the number of people supporting impeachment and removal has dropped. In Wisconsin, it's almost doubled the number of people. It was by a 7-point margin before the hearings, and it's by a 13-point margin that people oppose impeachment and removal. So they haven't made their case to the American people. And so now to push ahead with impeachment, as Nancy Pelosi is doing, puts those people, those Democrats and freshmen in swing states, in a terrible, terrible position, because Marc, they are not. A majority of people supported the inquiry. So to vote for the inquiry is no problem. to vote to actually impeach them when it's against the political winds of the people in their states who say they're going to reelect Donald Trump
Yeah, no, I
is
hear
a
you.
real problem for the
What
Democrat
about
Party.
the timing? Because timing is everything in life, right? So how this goes, the president's saying, just get it over with. If you're going to, basically like rip the Band-Aid off, let's move on to the Senate here. Moving on to the Senate is not necessarily going to be a great experience for Democrats, so it behooves them in some ways to stretch this out a little bit more. And then there's the line of thinking that they're going to have it done by Christmas. What do you see?
Well, if they were serious, they'd stretch it out because they'd actually, as was pointed out in the hearing the other day, this is the fastest, thinnest impeachment ever done. So if they were serious, they would actually take their time. But they're not serious. This has been preordained, and so they're going to, the better from the president's perspective. Let's get on to the trial. Let's do it because he's not going to be removed from office. And again, that's why these Democrats are in such a bad position, is because he's
like
actually,
he said,
you're not even going to be able to kill the king.
It's an ugly word,
so,
and he doesn't want it.
You might as well get the trial over. And from the Republicans, if you look at you want evidence of how the political winds have changed, before they were talking about, well, we could do a quick trial. We can just dismiss these charges on the second or third day. Now they're talking about an extended trial. Now they're talking about like having a long trial, and maybe we can have Adam Schiff come and testify. Adam Schiff, who wants to charge the president with obstructing Congress because he won't testify, is actually thinking about refusing to testify in the Senate trial. So that would be a really interesting situation.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see how it feels when the shoe goes on the other foot. Marc, thank you very much.
Thank you, Martha.
I want to bring in Robert Zimmerman.